Then they called the police. And when they called the police, they had a police officer come out. And this is where the case kind of gains its first bit of credibility. Police Constable Carolyn Heaps came out and wrote in testimony that she saw a chair wobble and then slide across the floor.
The Late Night Legends podcast is meant for a mature audience. Topics covered may be violent or sexual in nature and are not suitable for sensitive listeners. Please be aware of your surroundings. For specific trigger warnings, please see the episode's show notes. Testimony shared by guests of this show are their own and do not necessarily reflect the views of the Late Night Legends hosts or staff. This podcast and any linked materials should not be considered medical or professional advice, nor is the information a substitute for the expertise or treatment from a professional. Listener discretion is advised. Watch out.
Hey everybody, welcome to Late Night Legends. I'm here with Colin, Maria, Frank, and Tim. Frank needs to update his name for this podcast.
Sorry guys. Oh, God.
That name is just perfect though.
Sorry. Okay, I don't think it shows, does it?
Wrong show.
Sorry.
I'm Kay, and tonight Tim is going to be telling us about the Enfield Poltergeist.
Awesome. Thank you, Kay. Frank, you want to play that little clip?
Yes, I do want to play the little clip.
We're going to start with this little clip I want you guys to hear.
Okay. Y'all ready for this? Dun, 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 dun. Okay. Sorry.
Let me hear you say my name. Come on. Let me hear you say my name. That's not my name. Come on, my name's Morris. Let me hear you say it. Morris.
Oh.
Say Dr. Belloc. Come on. Let me hear you say that. Come on. Let's hear you say Dr. Belloc. Could you close that door down? Say Dr. Belloc. What is it? Just hold that one on good work. Now, if you squeak the bed, I can't hear you talking. Now, say Dr. Belloc. Come on. Come on, say it for me, Dr. Belloc. Dr. Belloc. Right, that's good. Right. Shut up your door. I'm 72 years old. I come from Jewett graveyard. And I have right near the church where Rita lives. And all my friends come from there as well. And we all make a game and go to the pub. And then we pick your house. Because I used to live here. And I will tell you some more. And if you don't get anyone else, just set Mr. Hook and Mr. Playback.
I want you to tell me whether you remember what happened to you when you died. Just before you died and just after you died.
Days before I died, I went blind. Then I had an hemorrhage and I fell asleep chair in the corner downstairs.
Bill, if you're there, would you answer me the following question? What have you done with Denise's
That's good. You can cut it now.
30p?
Okay.
So,
All right, Tim.
what if I told you that came from an 11-year-old girl's mouth named Janet Hodgson? What would be your immediate gut reaction after hearing that voice?
She needs to quit smoking.
Oh,
She should join a metal band.
Yeah, I was about to say that's a great intro to a metal album.
Is this the one of the Conjuring movies? Is off of this? Okay,
Conjuring
because
2, right?
Yep.
yeah, because when he said I died in the chair in the corner, I was like, wait a second, I think this is from a Conjuring movie.
Yep. Yeah, it is. And it's based off of, obviously, events that took place. And that's an actual recording of the real life event. So,
Wow.
Based on the details of what the little girl said in the creepy voice, what do you make of that? I mean, do you think that that's information that a young girl would know or should know?
all I'm going to say is, like, I never really thought that ghosts could have accents until tonight. Now I know that's confirmed, and I never thought about it, but it makes perfect sense.
Well, let's go back. Let me give you a little background on the story. So they were the Hodgson family. The mother's name was Peggy. She had 4 children: Margaret, Janet, Johnny, and Billy. They lived poor in London. And at the end of August 1977, I believe it was August 30th, they had moved into a house. They were hearing knocking sounds on the walls. They said that they would knock on the wall and they would get knocks back. So if they knocked twice, they'd get 2 knocks back. So they knocked 3 times, they'd get 3 knocks back. So they came downstairs. They told their mom, "Hey, this is what's happening." And the mom was kind of like, "You're pulling our leg. This isn't something that happens. You're just playing with me." And then she started hearing the knocking while the kids were there with her. So she's like, "Okay, there's something going on here, maybe." And so then they saw, or she saw, the mother actually saw a chest of drawers moving on their own. So then they called the police. And when they called the police, they had a police officer come out. And this is where the case kind of gains its first bit of credibility. Police Constable Carolyn Heaps came out and wrote in testimony that she saw a chair wobble and then slide across the floor. And she had that in the official report, and she couldn't determine any cause of why that happened. So that was really the first thing that kind of set this case into motion. And things continue to happen throughout the house. Then at that point, they were reaching out and trying to find help. And they came across a guy who had just lost his daughter. The daughter was the same name as their daughter. And they think that's one of the reasons why he decided to do the investigation. But, yeah, it just kind of gets a little crazier from there. So Maurice Gross was actually the name of the investigator. He brought a guy named Guy Playfair, who ended up writing a book later down the road about the entire situation. And they started to document everything that was going on in the house. So they worked with the Society for Psychological Research, and they were very skeptical throughout the process, but they had meticulous documentation. They brought in photographers. They brought in tape recorders. They tried to record things that they could. One of the photographers actually came in, and he had 2 light flashes that he had completely charged, and both of them were out of power when you went to actually use them. I went through a bunch of videos on this, and it's a bunch of crazy stuff that happened in this house. So one of the things they say is that Gross, as an investigator, he's a rational man. He was an inventor. He was always trying to disprove that there was any type of paranormal activity in the house. And because of that, they say that makes him a little bit more credible than people who are out there looking to find something. I don't know how you guys feel about that. Do you feel like if you're skeptical and you find something, it weighs more on how you feel about it than if they're somebody who believes?
Yeah.
Yeah,
Yeah.
we'd say so. Yeah.
There's people out there that want to sell themselves as being like a psychic or like someone who hears ghosts. So they'll just go anywhere and say, well, I feel something, I hear something. So well, even when there's maybe not, right? So I think for me, that's my thinking on it.
Yeah. No, I agree with that.
Plus, I know for police, like I'm so sorry, Tim. For police, I know for a fact, police love to razz each other. They will break each other's balls for any reason. And if you're going and you're making a report that has ghosties in there, you're going to risk like being made a mockery of at the station. Like they will use that against you, right? So if you're going to do that, it's got to be real.
Yeah. So they would come to the house. They would actually stay there most of the time, and they would document all of these things that would happen. And there would always be things that were moving. A lot of times it'd be chairs. Sometimes it'd be Legos would be thrown across the room, like little Lego bricks. Just different things that didn't necessarily strike fear, but things that were, enough to know, hey, something's really not right here, right? But as time went on and they continued to document this, things that they, witnessed became a little more diverse and more challenging to explain. So they heard that voice. That voice was of Bill Wilkins. They heard that in December of 1977. And there were specific verifiable details about his life. It talked about how he went blind, talked about how he died in the chair downstairs. And Janet, the daughter who was possessed, supposedly, shouldn't have known these details, right? These are things that at her age, obviously there was no Google. There was nothing out there for her to easily find this information. It shouldn't have happened. As well as tying that together with the objects flying around, the furniture moving. There were matches that would spontaneously ignite. Curtains would start strangling. Curtains would actually come down and grab like the bed sheet and twirl up and pull the bed sheets up and stuff. A lot of crazy things. And there's photos of this that you can see, which is crazy. The photographer, his name was Graham Morris. He would actually in interviews, since then has said, this could maybe be identified this way, but then he'll waffle on it and be like, there's no way that this could have been anything that a person would do rationally, right? There has to be something paranormal. So even the people that were there, some of them, like the photographer, kind of waffle on the idea of, hey, was this a true poltergeist or was this something that was made up? Because there were some things that the children did to try to help perpetuate it. And I think it was one of those things where, they were talking about how, on days where things might have been slow or things weren't actually happening, they would try to make up things to happen just because they were getting attention out of it, perhaps. But there were some definite things where they were caught, like Janet was caught like trying to bend spoons and do things like that. So it kind of goes on both sides as far as whether it could have actually happened or whether it was just a prank that still hasn't been uncovered as a prank, right? The voice is the big one for a lot of people because it described a previous resident that no one in the family knew. And they had no idea how Janet, who was 11, could get access to that information. There's also the photograph of her levitating. That some people say it looks like she's just jumping off the bed. And, when we go live with this, I'll post this in the chat so that we can post it. But it does, to me, when I saw it, it kind of looked like her jumping. That's the first thing I saw. But apparently, according to the photographer, it's like if she jumped, she would be jumping towards a brick wall and smash her head into it. So it wouldn't make sense to do that right naturally.
With the information on the previous tenant, was it verified that he actually was a tenant? He died in the home?
Yes. And here's the craziest part. The craziest part is not until 2024, a show was actually playing the recording that we played. And a caller called in and said, hey, I know that voice. That was my grandpa. He named his name, said exactly how he died, and it matched up exactly with how everything was. And they verified it all at that point. So, it's like 40 years later, right?
Because I'm just wondering, I mean, she wouldn't have had access to Google or something like that, but I mean, maybe the family was moving in and one of the neighbors was talking to another neighbor and they're like, oh my gosh, I can't believe that somebody is moving into that house after what happened. And the other neighbor's like, well, what happened? And they're like, oh, a guy died in his chair after he went blind, you know? So
completely possible, right?
yeah.
And that's one of the things that the skeptics point out is, hey, these neighborhoods had a long-standing
Cathy's.
and they were all like older residents who had been there for quite some time, right? So they obviously would have known the previous owners. They would have known the situation that happened. So it really depends on the communication, right? Had they chatted with the family and told them that, and had Jen overheard? Were they that detailed in the communication, talking about how he went blind first and then died in the couch, that kind of thing, right? So, you know, it really can go either way with that. But it is crazy when the person in 2024 calls in and doesn't just say, that's what he said. That's my great grandpa's voice, right?
That's wild.
Yeah.
That's nuts.
Yeah. It's more than just knowing information at that point. At that point, it's okay. How did you sound just like him?
Yeah.
Maria, what do you got on all of this? What were you thinking? Where's your headset? Your headspace? Where's your mind headset?
I mean, in a way, I think that like, yeah, it might have started as a haunting, but maybe the family did like play on it and use it to like get the attention. But yeah, other than like the little girl overhearing people talking about it, I don't know how else she would find out that information. And like how she like managed to like, you know, do that voice without like damaging her vocal cords or anything, you know.
Well, they say you have...
But I'm sorry.
No, go ahead.
Like, was it true? Because I know in the movie, like she like drinks some water or like puts some water in her mouth, and then like the like voice comes out. Like, did she do that in real life, or was it just...
Not from what I read. It sounded like she was just talking in different, you know, but it would be for prolonged periods of time, because they actually said that they did the studies on her. And you have two voice boxes, right? One that never gets used, that people who do like ventriloquism use. Mm-hmm. And they said that that's what she was using, right? They could test and see which one they were using, and that was the larynx or whatever that she was using. But they said that even trained ventriloquists, after doing it for like an hour, then they can't speak, right? They're hoarse because of how much effort and energy it takes to do that. Where she would do that for days at a time, hours at a time, having those conversations and never be hoarse, you know, never have to clear her throat, any of those kind of things. So either she was, you know, the world's best ventriloquist, or it was something else, right? Mm. They brought a professional guy who was in a ventriloquist at the time in, and he even said it's possible, but it doesn't sound like a voice that an 11-year-old girl could make.
Yeah. And yeah, I've seen that picture of like her like levitating. Like, to me, it does look like she's jumping because of like the way that her knees are kind of bent.
Yeah, her knees up like she's jumping, right? Mm-hmm. And as far as the question that a lot of them had of, hey, are they doing this for publicity? Are they doing this for money? What are they doing this for? If it is being faked, they thought, oh, maybe she just wants to get a different apartment. She wants a nicer apartment, the mom. And they asked if they wanted her to move, and she was like, no, I don't. I want to stay here. This is my home. They never were paid anything. They didn't seek the media. It actually was neighbors and people who were outsiders that were experiencing some of the phenomenon. Like, they could see like her levitating through the window. And there were two eyewitness accounts that were separate. They said the same thing that was corroborated between the two, even though they had never spoken to each other, of walking by and seeing Janet levitating through the window. There was another one where, you know, the investigator was talking to her and said, hey, you know, move this mattress down through the floor without opening the door, move it downstairs. And the next thing you know, it was on the roof, and there was no way for her to get it to the roof. And when the guy went to get it off the roof, he opened the window. He's like, I barely was able to get it off the roof. There's no way an 11-year-old girl would have been able to put it up on the roof. And the neighbors outside said, hey, yeah, we just saw 1 minute it wasn't there. The next minute it was there. So a lot of different things for really them trying not to get any publicity out of it. The publicity came not from them looking for it, but from neighbors and other people's accounts of the activity that was going on in the house.
So like a otherworldly Streisand effect.
Yeah. Yeah. And so you move on, after 1978, the developments like bringing it to today, hearing about the 2024 call with the radio breakthrough, hearing that voice and understanding that was their great grandfather's voice. That's one of the biggest things that really has brought this case back to the limelight again, because even the Paranormal Society had came through and said, hey, we believe, after an investigation after the fact, so not even during the time, but after the fact, that this was potentially poltergeist activity, but is unverified, is how they classified it, as potential but unverified, but they weren't debunking it or disproving it. And then because of this new information, then it's starting to be reinvestigated, potentially with the information that we have now. The other big part of this is that it went on for 18 months. It wasn't just a quick, typically in a hoax, they say it would be very hard for you to pull that off for that length of time, for an 18-month time frame. Whereas, it being real, obviously you're going to be able to sustain that longer. But I mean, after they were blessed and Janet went through and the preacher came in and did everything they needed to do. Then right afterwards, he came down and said, it's gone and everything's good. And from that point on, everything was good. Nothing ever happened again. So very, very weird case, considering the fact that, it happened back in 1977 and we're still talking about it today, after hearing new information.
And has the great grandson, has it been proven that they are related?
Yep. Yeah. All that has been proven.
Wow.
So yeah. So it goes on both sides. I'd love to kind of roundtable it and have arguments on each side. What pieces of evidence do you feel make the strong argument for you that this is a hoax? And what pieces of evidence do you feel make the strong case that, hey, this is potentially real?
I don't know. For me, at least, you kind of just have to go off of your gut feeling. I don't think I would have wanted to be there during that recording. That legit creeped me out. And I say that as a mostly non-believer of stuff. I'm mostly a skeptic, as I think most people know. And I feel like an experience like that would turn me into a believer, or believer, actually, depending on what I'm listening to at the time. But
different recording.
Yeah, no, I that's the kind of thing that I don't think I would seek out, but I want to believe, and that would be, I don't know. At the end of the day, I can't say something is real or fake unless I'm there to see it, right?
Mm-hmm.
And yeah. I don't think I'd want to be there. So that's how I personally feel. I'm still kind of inconclusive about it all. How about the rest of y'all?
Yeah, that sums me up pretty well. And I wouldn't take away anybody that said that they were there and said this is factually the way it happened. I would just be like, well, I wasn't there, and I kowtow to your experience, I guess.
The crazy part about this case is just how many hours, and there's thousands of hours of documented recordings and information that make it the most documented paranormal research case of all time. So in the fact that there is that much information and it's still so undecided as far as, whether people believe it or whether they don't, just kind of, I think, shows how the dissonance that people have for this type of things in life, right? Whether they believe it or not, and how much they fall upon their own beliefs of, hey, if I got to see it to believe it. I've got, which I totally understand as well. I believe that a shark could bite me in half, but I'd rather not see it, right?
Yeah.
I'm really torn with this one because I believe that paranormal stuff happens, but there's also so much out there that is faked that I'm a huge skeptic, and I think that there's a lot of explanation possible in this case. And they even go through some of it in the Conjuring movie, like where they catch the girls jumping off of things and bending spoons, and then the girls, you find out, were supposedly told by the poltergeist to do these things and get caught so that everybody would leave and not take them seriously anymore, because it just wanted to be left alone. It didn't want to be taken out of the house. It's a really hard one. There's a lot of evidence for it, and I think there's a lot of explanation that is possible against it. So
nope, I totally agree with you. And I think that's the biggest thing I think that the skeptics bring up is the fact that the girls were found doing fraudulent things, that even if the other things that had happened were credible, kind of discredit that because of the things they did that were fraudulent.
Mm-hmm.
And admittedly so.
Maria, you think this is real?
No. Well, I mean, for this one, like I do come at it like more skeptical, just because of like all the, like, you know, the girls like being caught doing these things, and like, but with the voice, like that's still kind of difficult. Like I would want to be there to believe it. But again, like it could still be proven with like something rational that the girl could have just, you know, practiced on her own and then performed for the interviewers and everything. But I mean, again, that doesn't indicate the fact that like there might have been something in the house. It might not have been a poltergeist like doing all these grandiose things, but it might have been like something that might have given them the idea, like, oh, our house is a little bit haunted. Let's use it for our advantage. So
yeah, that sounds like the sort of thing I would have done when I was a kid.
Sounds like the sort of thing Kay did the first time she was on the show.
Yeah. It worked. It worked, didn't it? I'm on the show. I'm basically
that wasn't
famous
your goal,
now.
though. You honestly, I feel like when you were first on this podcast as a guest, you had no intention to ever return to the show. So
no, I didn't.
I know.
No, that's what I was like really good at acting and making you think. But really, you know, I want to be a famous podcaster, and that was the way to get there.
So let me get this straight. You wanted to be a famous podcaster, so you decided that you would audition for this show. That was your plan?
Yeah. Yeah.
Oh.
Bringing everyone up with me.
Appreciate that.
Nice.
You're welcome. I'm going to have to fake more ghost stories. Make us go viral.
See if you can do some fake levitating or some tying up of curtains to pull up bed sheets and stuff.
You gotta be careful. You start faking ghost content, you're gonna have his big fucking red goggles. He's gonna come after you and call you out.
Franklin.
Sorry, I'll cut that out in post. Sorry.
You always say that and you never do.
No, I have in this specific type of scenario. I will. Don't worry.
Now, the big things for me on this one, just doing, because obviously I did the research. I watched a couple of different videos about this and listened to everybody talk about it that was involved. And it's funny because like in the first, half of one of my watch was an hour long. In the first half, it sounded like it was going to be all skeptic, that everybody was, these girls, I wouldn't trust anything they say, anything they do. I don't think that they're credible. All this, especially the lady from the Paranormal Research Society. And then by the time, it hits that halfway point and starts to go to the second half, they start kind of changing their tune. Well, with this and this and this, and talking to the mom and seeing what happened, and the officer, right? The big things were the officer's sworn testimony of what they saw. All the neighbors, reporting the activity with really no reason to do so. Why would they do that? There's nothing in it for them. The family, the mother, especially, when all that's coming from it is pain and torment. They're not getting any financial reward. They're really not getting anything positive from it. And then, the icing on the cake, I think, for some of these folks was really that phone call coming in 2024. Hey, that's my great grandpa's voice, right?
No.
So
what are you doing, Grandpa?
Maybe it was Grandpa. Maybe it's probably Grandpa. I guess that was only 77 to now. Yeah, but yeah, either way, it's just crazy to think about, and then especially when you see things now, it's hard to, for me at least, it's hard to dismiss something just because a couple of fraudulent things when there's so many other people outside of it that saw things, and especially with what we got coming next week with Annabelle, right? Just seeing what happened recently here in the
corroboration is convincing for you. Fair.
Yeah. Yes. From outside sources for sure. Right. Yeah. If it's corroboration within the house, not so much, but corroboration from outside sources who are independent, definitely.
I'd corroborate you, Tim. Don't worry.
Appreciate that.
Both inside the house and outside the house.
When I start floating, we'll corroborate it.
All right. Sounds good.
A little too heavy to float these days.
Oh my gosh.
Look, if I'm floating, it's something that does paranormal.
Colin.
300-pound dudes don't float. So that went way faster than I thought. So we can talk about anything though.
All right. Sounds good.
Have you guys heard of like that? It's like a game. It's like you're supposed to levitate with like that game. And it's like light as a feather or
strong
something.
As a board, yeah.
Yeah.
How do you play that game?
I'm not entirely sure, but like a lot of people that have played it, they say that like something does happen. So,
Colin, how do you play that game?
You're supposed to have a group of people, and everybody uses 2 fingers on each hand, and you pick somebody up with just the fingers on your hands. But
does it work
like this? I think.
Yeah, exactly like that. Yep.
Does it work?
I don't know. I would imagine so.
Depends on the person.
I'm gonna have to try it with my wife.
Frank.
What?
Harrison. He's sleeping.
Sorry, Harrison. Sorry, that I feel like that leads to anyway, what are we talking about next? What's next?
So, Tim, I have a question for you.
Yeah.
Of all of the stuff in this case, what would you say you think is most likely to not be faked and most likely to be faked of this case, of everything that happened?
I mean, just based off the photo, I think the levitation would be the most likely to be faked, just because the way her knees are and everything, it totally looks like she's jumping. I don't know if you've seen the photo, but she definitely looks like she's jumping.
We'll put a photo up and post. That's for sure. I will find one.
I think the least likely to be faked would be, the mattress one. I think is a big one. That it ended up on the roof, and there was no way really for the little girl to get it on the roof. And the people that were outside of the house said, "Hey, it wasn't there," and then a second later, it was there. And that's just somebody who's not even associated with the family or anything, right? So, I think to me that's one of the most. Because the other ones that they could see, it's like, oh, something weird's going on in the house. They see something floating. Your eyes can play tricks on you. But I don't think your eyes can play tricks on you when there's a mattress inside the house and then one outside the house. Oh, another one, and I forgot to mention this one, was they asked her to go through a wall, and she said she did. They didn't see it happen, but she said she did. She went into the neighbor's house, and to prove it, she said she left a book in their room, and she described what the room was. So they went over to the neighbor's house, asked permission to go in, went inside the neighbor's house, went into that bedroom, and it was exactly as she described. And there was a book in the room that she had left that was like playing child's games or something was the title of the book. And they were like, okay, well, that's a crazy book to put in there and leave in there, but it makes sense with what they're doing. So, I mean, there's a couple of things that to me sounded very hard for somebody to fake. When the other people weren't involved, but I think that definitely the levitating, and I think even the voice, right? I mean, just because no ventriloquist can do that for as long as she was doing it for doesn't mean she couldn't. You know, when you're younger, maybe you have, you're obviously more resilient. You obviously bounce back from things faster. Maybe it's the same thing with your voice. I don't know. I've never met a lot of child ventriloquists.
Do you guys think it's better to be skeptical for this type of stuff, or do you think it's better to sort of buy into it a little bit, because there's a part of me that thinks like if you don't believe any of it and you never will, then when stuff is actually happening to you, you're just gonna like dismiss it like, no, that's not happening, and then it'll be too late, and then you're fucked, right? Where's the good on a scale of like 100 total believer, 0 you don't even believe things that you should? Where on the scale do you think is the healthy place to be? Like right at 50?
I feel like you should like at least come to it with like a skeptical mind. And if you can't disprove it, then that helps, like, show that like, oh, this could be real.
Maria.
Because yes.
I'm starting to think that you're kind of more of a skeptic about everything rather than a believer after the last 2 shows.
I mean, for me, like I kind of how I explained it, like I look at it, like I try to find a rational or logical reason of why something might be happening. And then if I can't prove it and there's no other reasoning, then that, makes it a little bit more like, oh, this could be real. And like, I want to believe just how your poster says. And I don't know, like if I believe in everything, but like some things, like it's just, I don't know, too many things have happened for it to not be real, and like tay many people
Give me a
agreeing.
number between 1 and 100. With 1 being non-believer, 100 everything is real. Where are you number wise? Would you say? That's a question for everybody too. I want to know what everybody's number is. Give me your number, and then give me a number of where you think somebody should be to be like a healthy person. Am I putting you on the spot? You want us to come back?
Well, if I say a number and then the other one comes and like, I'm not a healthy person.
Oh,
but
no, not like that. It's all made up anyway.
I don't know. I think I don't want to say 50-50. So like, I'll say like maybe like 60% of like, I'll believe.
Tim, what are you doing? Sorry.
And
give me my number.
I'm too immature. I'm sorry, Maria.
Oh.
Put in the comments what you think Tim's number is.
I think we all know what Tim's number is. I'd go with probably 70-30, 80-20. Like you need to come to things with a healthy dose of skepticism and a little bit of belief. And then
they say that 80-20 is healthier than 70-30 though when you go to the store.
So then if something happens to you, then it can slide back the other way. But I think if you go into it, I'm just going to breeze right past that comment, Frank.
What? Sorry, I'm making a beef joke, okay?
If you go into it hoping or expecting something to happen, then
that's bad.
More stuff is going to happen.
Yeah, there's just, I don't know. Sorry.
I was just going to say, I feel like for some people, if you get high enough on that number scale, something completely normal and explainable will happen, but they'll be like, oh my God, it's the ghosts.
Exactly.
Like you get startled so easily. I feel like my mom. Yeah.
I was going to say, I think that there's a ROI portion of it too for protecting yourself too. Like you need to believe a little bit
as a defense mechanism.
I think if you believe a little bit, then you're going to maybe protect yourself more, right? I don't know.
Right, like you'll know how to like protect yourself from it.
Because I was looking up like the Skinwalker one a couple weeks ago, right? And everybody's telling me, oh, don't say the name, don't say it, don't read it. Like if I didn't believe and I just went and started saying it, bad things might happen to me, right? So it's better for me just to be cautious and be like, oh, it's probably better that I don't. Even if I don't believe it, it's better that I don't say it. Right?
And I think there's a lot of things out there, not just that subject, but a lot of things, especially if you're dealing with more malevolent entities. If you believe that, they can do some nasty stuff to you and you can form attachments that you take home with you. And so if you go in there thinking that it's all a bunch of baloney and you're not careful and you don't take precautions, some bad stuff can happen to you, and it does happen to people.
Yep.
And then also for me, like, like if I'm like experiencing something with other people around, like, or they're telling me that something happened, if I'm not there, like how am I to know for sure? But if I'm like at home by myself and like something happens and then I'm like, okay, I'm not hoaxing myself. So like, you know, like it could have been something unless it was like, I mean, if I'm like sleepwalking at night and like making the trap for myself for the next morning, but yeah, so I don't know. I think it's like healthy to be like a little bit skeptical, but then also like
what's the number?
At least be
what's the healthy
informed.
Number?
Well, I said like 60% of me like
60?
believing.
So Kay's at 70, right? Because you said either or.
I'm like 70 the other way.
Oh,
70% you should not believe.
So you're at you're thinking that's a 30 then, right?
Yeah. Okay. So my number's
so you're
30.
at 30. Maria's at 60. Colin, where do you
17.
fall? 17.
Yep.
Strong number.
Strong.
Specific number.
Very well thought out number. Not off the top of my head.
There's
even
another
the slightest.
strong number in the group.
Now, Tim, I know that you gave us a number.
51.
Okay. 51.
I don't feel like mine's too much.
51.
No, don't backtrack. It's a good number.
It's okay. There's no right or wrong answer. It's all theoretical, right? I want to say I'm around Colin. I want to say I'm like a 15. And I want that number to grow. I want to be where Maria's at. I want a bigger number someday. But here's the thing. Like, I personally have never had anything happen where I'm like, yep, shit's real, right? But like, that's not to say that like I don't believe people's stories. Like, I didn't invite Kay on the show the first time she was a guest and be like, oh man, this girl's crazy. That shit's not happening. Like, I believe
those were inside thoughts that he kept to himself, but
kinda.
He just wanted the views.
I mean, it's really funny.
I mean, you did come here to make it be famous, right?
I did. Look at us now.
Look at us now. Oh my God. Well, I'm glad to hear where you guys all are on the scale. If you're listening to this show, please put in the comments where you fall on the scale of skeptical to believer, with 1 being you don't believe anything at all, 100 being you believe everything.
Justin Bieber fan.
You're
100% believer.
You listen to Everyday Life and you think there's something going on for the smallest actual things. Number 100 is probably unattainable, but let us know where you fall in the comments, and if you have a reason to be at that number, also write down your reason, and if we like it, we can read those on air.
I think an important distinction is, are we saying that we're taking this number to everything across the board? Like, does this number apply to ghosts and aliens and the Loch Ness Monster? Or are we talking about like poltergeists?
That's a really good question. I don't know. I think it's subjective, right?
Yeah, I feel like my numbers would vary depending on like what topic.
I think if I was at number 100 earlier when Colin put a Mentos in a Diet Coke, I would have thought that was a poltergeist. But it actually wasn't.
That was so good.
It was that good. My ears.
Sorry.
I have my volume up so high, Colin. I hope that mineral water was worth it.
Yes, it was.
My physical abuse to my my ears. Yeah, I don't know. What do you guys? I think we could put a little cap on that one. We tie that one up in a little bow. If you got any feedback on the Enfield Poltergeist, put it down in the comments. And if you want us to cover more topics like that, let us know. We're always on the hunt for our next topics, and I think that, at least speaking for me, not speaking for the rest of the team, I'm always looking for the next topic. I know that as a listener or viewer, you may not know this, but we assign topic days very far in advance. And I believe everybody here, we all have a topic that we haven't decided in the future. We have a day where we need to decide a topic. So give us ideas, and we'll try to do those. And yeah, anybody want to talk about a future topic they have in the pipeline? I'll talk about one. I can do it.
We got a suggestion from a commenter that was really good, and I'm trying to remember what it was. Did I put it in the topics?
We've got a lot in the potential topics, but it's weird too, because like I'll have a really good idea, and then when it comes time to do it, I'll be like, nah, I don't want to do that. I don't feel like it anymore. But YouTube was suggesting that we do a topic on paranormal secrets of different families. I think that's a great topic. I can't wait.
No, that's actually a really good idea.
Yeah, I put that in the Discord. I know it sounds like you're hearing about this for the first time, Colin, but if you check our Discord.
Well, yeah, I probably should.
Maybe we should just do a day of family secrets. If you have a family secret, put it in the comments. Doesn't have to be paranormal. We just want the gossip.
Spill the tea.
You don't have to put your own family secret. You can put somebody else's family secret in the comments when we'll read
we'll do an episode on it.
Hell yeah. I would also really like for you, on that note, we had a lot of really good comments in our episode that we had on, wasn't the Glitch in the Matrix episode. We had a lot of really awesome personal stories about people who thought that they had like a near-death experience and maybe quantum immortalities type of stuff happened. The problem is it's really hard for us to reach out to people and ask them if they'd like to tell their story. YouTube has a very limited ability for us to kind of contact listeners and viewers. I think it's meant to be that way for a reason. But if you have a story that you'd like to tell, and maybe appear on our show, reach out to us. You could do it with email, latenightlegendspodcast@gmail.com, or go to our website, latenightlegends.boo, and you can actually hit the contact form and fill out a little form and let us know that you have a story to tell. And if we like your story and we like you and you're awesome, we can have you on. It'd be great. Be a good time.
If they're not able to like be on camera either, too, like we could like read their story.
Yes.
Yes. I will have somebody read the story for sure. We'll have Harrison read the story.
He is ready.
He is ready for something right now.
He's trying to find a comfortable position, and he's now purring. So Harrison is very excited over the idea of getting to read your stories. Please send them in. He is purring.
Where does Harrison fall on the scale of believer to skeptic?
Oh, that is a great question. Well, he's a cat, so probably like a 99 on the skeptic scale. Unless it has to do with an HR violation, and then he's a 100% believer that you did it. And that you're guilty.
Tim, I'm going to have to share your comment with HR. I'm so sorry. Both of them. Both of those comments, actually. Y'all didn't know there was more than one comment, did you? There is.
I mean, I don't know. My cat's like, I don't know if they're skeptical or what, because sometimes like I'll be fine if I hear something and they're not reacting. I'm like, okay, I'm cool. But then if they stop and look at a corner and like there's nothing there, I'm like, what?
I was just gonna ask
Yes.
if you guys had experience with your cats.
Sometimes.
So I used to have
like at least me. I don't know about but
has Harrison ever seen something that wasn't there or acted like something was there?
Yeah, that was part of one of the stories that I've told. Remember? Because he saw something that was there that was not there.
Now that you reminded me, I do remember, yeah.
Yeah, and I mean, he is the sweetest, most skittish little guy ever. I mean, we took him to the vet, and he was purring at the vet and let them do whatever they wanted to do. But on that night when the house was like blowing up with activity, I had gone downstairs and I was sitting on my bed, and he came and jumped up next to me and was totally fine, and then turned and looked at the doorway, which was empty, and like arched his back and started like growling, hissing at the door frame, which he does not do. That is the only time I've ever seen him do that.
Yeah, my dogs do stuff like that fairly often. We call it getting a case of the Caspers.
Love that.
So
But
usually
you
it
said-
turns out to be a balloon or something.
Oh, a balloon.
Yeah.
Tim, do you have any animals? Got any
got a
fish that are
dog.
reacting to? Oh, you have a dog?
Yep.
What's your dog's name?
Honey Bear.
Honey Bear.
Oh, that's a great name.
That's weird. That's my nickname.
Golden
I'm just kidding.
Retriever.
I'm just kidding, Tim. I'm just kidding.
Oh, a little Goldie named Honey Bear. Oh,
That's so cute.
That's wonderful. I used to have a cat. My cat's name was Kukui, and he was an asshole.
Oh, like the kukui?
Yeah. I named Maria. I named my cat Kukui, and we take him to the vet, and they would be like, "What's the cat's name?" And so they started calling the cat Cookie, like the thing you eat. And then the cat would only respond to that.
Clarification.
I know you needed the clarification, but no. And then like the cat was such a jerk. Then that's what he started answering to him. Like, that's not your name. Answer to your name. But my cat would do the hissing thing at the living room in my apartment when I was 18, and I found out later on he was hissing because there was an outside cat that would taunt him. And that's why he was doing it. So it's not a paranormal thing. But for a moment, I'm like, oh my God, this cat that I named Kukui is channeling his, I don't know. Kukui is like a boogeyman type of character for y'all in the Latino world. Yes? Yes, Maria? Yes?
Yes.
Okay. Yeah. Very good. It's like the Baba Yaga, like the John Wick type of thing. It's like a Kukui. But yeah. If you have animals that have a case of the Caspers, go ahead and put it down in the comments. And then hit the thumbs up if you like the content we're putting out, and hit the bells for notifications. And make sure you turn your sound and your ringtone to high volume, so then when we drop new content, you have that loud and clear notification. All right, you guys want to do some closing thoughts, some final thoughts?
Sure.
Okay. I'll shut up now. Anybody want to go first?
I can go first. Final thought about this poltergeist. I don't really know what to think of it. I don't know which way to go, if I believe it or if I don't. I think there's a lot of evidence there. I think some of it could easily be faked or explained, but at the same time, I'm not ready to write it off as a hoax. I guess, Tim, I have one more question. Do you know if there is anything to gain from this? Were they trying to get on TV? Were they trying to write a book? Were they trying
There's nothing to be gained. That's one of the big things that goes against the skeptics, is that they didn't gain anything out of it. Just turmoil.
Right. And it's kind of like the same as the first Conjuring story with the parents, is all this stuff happened and then they just went back to their normal life. They didn't even move out of the house. So what would they get from faking it? Mm-hmm. And I feel like that's a lot of the push behind other stuff being faked, is there's something to gain, and not a whole lot was gained here. So I don't know.
What was that lady who like had the hole in her yard, or was digging up a rug or something? You remember we were talking about that? Whatever happened with her? What happened with that lady? I just thought about her. She was gaining notoriety from her experience.
Well, she didn't keep it. So
she didn't keep the rug.
She didn't keep the notoriety.
Oh wow, that's even worse, isn't it?
Amazing. I don't know.
Lost it on the subway.
Find an update for you on that, Frank.
Man. I would really like an update.
Let me see.
While you look for an update, Colin, Maria, you guys have a closing thought?
Yeah, I would. Sorry.
No, you go first.
Yeah, again, it's just very hard to like say for sure that this is a real haunting that happened. But again, I would like to know like more about like what the police experience, like apart from like seeing the chair and everything. Like I wonder like what they felt like while entering the house, like if they felt any shift in the atmosphere or anything, if it was like cold or anything. Because it could have easily been like someone put like a fishing string or something on the chair and like pulled it and they didn't see that.
The old fishing string.
Yeah, so who knows? But like it would be cool to know if they actually like felt something and not just saw whatever they did see with that chair.
Yeah, to get the full experience.
Mm-hmm.
The police commissioner makes the report and the other cops are like, but did you check for a fishing string? I'm sorry, Mario. Colin, what do you got?
Well, one way or the other, whether it's true or not, I think it's definitely fun to ponder from an outside point of view, and it's definitely made a good spooky movie. That's a lot of fun. My wife and I we've watched it a couple of times now. So
nice.
Yeah, it's a good one. Like to switch all the lights off and get scared.
I do that too.
Yeah, me too. Several times.
Tim, help us out here. What do you got?
Yeah, I mean, I think overall, just based off of the length of time, the 18 months, the outside people who weren't associated with it, who corroborated stories, to me, I would probably lean on the side that I believe the majority of it's true. A part of that is probably just because if it's the most documented case of all time in a paranormal sense, if it's not true, then probably nothing is. So I think that that probably plays into me believing it a little bit more. But yeah, I mean, there are definitely parts of it that have been verified as fraudulent, that were admittedly fraudulent. I would hope that the police officer actually looked at the chair after it moved to make sure there wasn't like a string on it or anything.
Fishing string.
But I didn't get a copy of the actual police report, so I couldn't tell you. But I mean, even the lady from the Paranormal Research Society who did the investigation after the fact said, if this was for notoriety, then even if they would have came out after the fact and said, hey, it was fraudulent, that would have garnered them additional notoriety that might have led to something, as opposed hey, you played this big hoax on everybody and given them some fame and notoriety from that, as opposed to sticking with the fact that they say it was actually happened. So yeah, I think personally, I feel like it's probably more on the side of it did than didn't. But I mean, everybody knows my stance on a lot of this stuff. I believe a lot of it. So
Tim Vance, 51% believer, everybody. Yeah, I don't know. I think this is one that I don't think we'll ever really know if it was real or not. I feel if something were to happen today, technology has come so far and people are all up in everybody's business that things get debunked right away when they are fake. And it's really hard to look at something historical because we can't go back and see it and experience it. So it's really going to be hard to say. I will say that it gives me the creeps. So I would kind of err on if any of these are real, this is maybe one of those things. Again, I really feel good, or not feel good, but I feel like it's more validating that there's nothing to gain. Just like with Kay's experience, there was nothing to gain. I feel like I believe regular people more than, somebody who's looking to get famous or looking to gain that notoriety personally. So, that's why I love this type of content, right? Because if it gets you thinking and you get to sort of apply that thinking to other things that are around you and kind of be open-minded to it, that is sort of the idea, right? Just to be open-minded to something might have happened. I think that's the beautiful part of what we do. So with that said, we're going to go ahead and close it up here tonight. Thank you for tuning in. Thank you. Oh, what? You got?
Do you want an update? I found an update.
Oh, please.
There was nothing in the rug.
Update.
And now she has 2 million followers on TikTok, so she's probably making a lot of money off TikTok. So moral of the story is fake something, get a lot of followers, and then post updates, make a lot of money, get that bag, sis.
So Frank, right. I got to ask you a question real quick before we close out.
Do you got a carpet?
So, no, I was wondering, do you believe Kay less now that you know she's in this for the fame?
I didn't before you said that, but now.
Oh.
She's got a life insurance policy out on me. Now she's doing this for the fame. Yeah, keep a close eye. Thank you for tuning in. Thank you for telling a friend. If you'd like to subscribe to our TikTok where you can watch Colin wrap me up on a big carpet, please join us on TikTok. We'll see you all next week. Have a great week.
I know where to get you now.
Bye. Bye.
So happens in Chicago.